Good morning, everybody. I am trying to use my Wi-Fi, and I don't know if it's working or if it's laggy, so y'all need to let me know if it's working or is this like super laggy and wonky. Let's see. I gotta change the chat thingy so it'll work. I'm trying to use the Wi-Fi.
Hi, we have 2 people and 1 like.
Oh my goodness. They must have known you were coming. And we can use the Wi-Fi. It might be lagging. I don't know if your brother's on. Will you go ask your brother if he's on, if he can check it and see if it's working? I don't know if it's working or if it's laggy. My hair's kind of funky. Trav, will you see if it's working or if it's wonky? Hey, Angela. Hey. Is this working or is it laggy?
Working or laggy?
Working or laggy?
Hi.
Hey.
Is it working?
I don't know.
Tell us. Is it working?
Well, there's a delay between what we see and then their comments. Hey, Melanie.
Oh, look what you
Hey,
said.
Gina. Good morning. Is this coming through okay, you guys, or is
You're
it
my favorite
laggy?
people too.
It's good. Okay, good. Oh, good. It's working. Hey,
Morning.
Sabrina. Hey, Amy. We got our internet people came out a couple weeks ago and gave us a new Wi-Fi thingamajigger, and so I'm hoping that will let us thingamajogger. I think you have chicken food on your eye.
Are you?
Yeah, I think so. Right there.
Oh.
Anyways, good morning.
Hi.
I love this dress too, Sherry. It is my favorite.
I like
Well,
this
I have
shirt.
lots of dresses that are my favorites, I guess, but
I like this
there's
shirt.
plants on it. I love it.
Oh, of course.
Which actually a
I
couple.
like this shirt.
Anyways, someone just left me a comment, but I can't read it because I'm doing this. What was I gonna say? Oh, so they gave us a new internet thingamajigger. Hey, Bambi, I see you now. And so I'm hoping that will work because lately before when we would try to live stream with the Wi-Fi, it wouldn't work. And so we'd have to use up our internet on our phone, which we don't have a ton. And so we always run out. Anyways, it's like a whole debacle. So I'm really hoping that the Wi-Fi will work better now. Was my story that I was trying to get to. How is Andy doing? Can you give us an Andy update?
He is actually doing pretty good. He has been standing up like 4 times now.
So we're thinking Andy, our rooster, good morning, Jennifer. We were thinking Andy might have had some kind of like nutrient deficiency or something like that. Different people suggested different things. Oh my gosh, Bambi, totally ask your question. I'll tell my rooster update real quick. So people suggested different things and we were trying different stuff out and kind of ruling different things out. And then yesterday Daddy was watching him and he was like, he totally is trying to stand up and his right leg that has been completely not moving whatsoever, he moved it a few times and he got up. It was just for a quick second and then he was like wiped out. Like you could tell that was his limit. He was done after that.
I can't get him to walk anymore.
Yeah, and so we're continuing just like Lily's been doing like physical therapy with him. So she's been moving his leg and helping him, put a little weight and then rest and stuff like that. We don't know what we're doing. We're totally guessing
now,
these
and then
things are
after
helping.
the live, when Mom's getting Burger King, then I'm going to like help him and then
Yeah, she's got a whole physical therapy regimen for him that he is in the process of doing.
8,000 buckets.
Yeah, right now she's got like buckets all around him to like prop him up so he can like be upright a little bit.
I want to get him used to that.
So it's super exciting. But we did notice yesterday that the leg that we were like, wow, I guess he's paralyzed. Like that one leg is never going to work again because for a week now he has not moved this leg. Yesterday he actually moved the leg.
And today morning,
times.
while you were sleeping, but Dad was walking. And he was like that.
Yeah.
Like
so he's still not like moving his foot. Like the foot you can tell is still struggling. But his leg, like he's controlling the movement. Like it's not, because a couple times we saw it, but it looked like it was just like a twitch or something, like it wasn't him doing it. Now it's him doing it. So fingers crossed, Andy is on the up and up. Hey, Raylan, how are you? We were just giving an Andy update. He's hanging in there and he's getting some movement back in his right leg. And he did kind of stand a couple times. So
aww.
Yes, thank you all for your prayers for our rooster.
Wait, that's kind of weird. We'll pray for Andy's family. That's nice. Thank you very much for that sentence. It's
I know.
weird.
I know. Did you guys ever think that you'd be like joining in to pray for a rooster?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, dear God, please help Andy's foot.
Lily has loved this rooster, huh? This has been your baby.
Ever since he was a chick. I knew he was a rooster ever since he was a chick.
Mhm.
See, I can tell the future.
I don't know about that.
Yes, I can. I knew that in the future he'd be a rooster, and I knew
I
that
know.
he'd
Daddy
be
didn't
paralyzed.
believe us. That you didn't know we'd be paralyzed.
Yes, I did.
Ew, have you washed your hands since you came in?
Yes, I washed my hands. I washed it in the chicken's water bucket.
Oh, that's gross.
No.
Washing your hands in the chicken's water bucket does not count as washing your hands.
It was clean.
Oh my
He
gosh.
is adorable.
You're
Actually,
right.
looks exactly like. He's such a stereotypical chicken.
He is a stereotypical chicken. Okay, so Bambi says, I asked the kiddos what they wanted to learn, and now I'm trying to find resources. Can we share idea threads on the page? Oh, comment, come back. I have one who said mythology and another said mushroom and weather. Awesome. Yeah, I
Wait,
think
that would
on,
help?
okay, so we have a Facebook group for Heavenly Minded Homeschool
I
for
haven't
anybody
joined it yet.
who is interested. Well, it's supposed to be for like the parents.
Todd's
And
joined. He's not a parent. He's only 15. Yes, he did. He
no,
joined.
that was for the home church. Because Sunday, tomorrow, you guys, at noon, we've got home church. Brandon has had a very rough week, but he is working on getting that finished up. He's got some cool stuff we're diving into. So tomorrow's going to kind of set all that up. Super excited. But that's on our Facebook group for the home church. But we have a Facebook page or group or whatever for the homeschool. And yeah, if you totally have different topics, we want to leave, like with our homeschool plans, I like to leave our days open for the things that our kids are interested in. So we cover the
interested
basic
in
stuff.
France.
You're interested in France, we know. All things French. But yeah, I totally want to leave the days open for them to follow along and the things that they're interested in. I am constantly either myself encouraging them to go and look stuff up, or I'm looking it up for them. Well, I'm trying to answer the first question, then I'll answer the other ones. Yes, and pray for Brandon. He's just as important as Andy.
Oh, he's not as
But
bad
yes,
as
definitely,
Andy.
if you want to post to the Facebook group, you know, the different areas of things that they're interested in. So if anybody has any ideas of something that they've used in that, they can totally share it along. We are big Googlers and
I love
YouTube searchers. We will search every topic on YouTube and just watch the rabbit hole of the things that come up. And then I usually will go to, we just have Amazon streaming services. So I will usually go to Amazon and search it on there as well and see what comes up as far as different
Who all
shows
has
and
chickens
movies and documentaries and things like that. Who all has chickens? Do many of you have
If
chickens?
any roosters are hurting your girls, buy chicken saddles.
Oh yes, yeah. Lily
Quick
was
hack.
learning about chicken
Chicken
saddles this morning, apparently, because when I came out, she was telling me all about chicken saddles. But yes, Bambi, totally feel free. Oh, comments come back. Hold on, I don't know how to make them come back. I know there were other comments, but
Click on it.
do you click this?
I think so.
Oh.
See?
Okay, look at Lily knowing how to do things.
Right.
The math worksheets that I showed, if you go on minimalisthomeschool.com and click on like the blog plus sign little tab. Okay. If you go into month 2 supplies, there's links there for, it's the MEP website, but I don't remember exactly how to do it. Or if you just Google MEP math, it should come up, I'm sure. I'm actually really, really liking it. Yes, it is a British website. So yes, there are,
Is there tea in it?
so there are some, conversions and spelling differences and whatever, but, it's really cool and we really like it. But if you go, like I said, onto our blog and click on the month 2 supply list, the links are in there.
Mom,
And we are, okay, hold on one second. We were doing 1 week of the lessons per week. So like for most of the kids, there's like 5 pages. So there's like 1 page per day. We just do a math focus 1 day per week. So we just kind of do them all on that. But that's starting with the first week of school and kind of working our way through what I have is what I have printed out and included in the booklet. Bambi, I saw your update with the possums. Oh my gosh. So we really don't have many possums around us here, which is kind of weird. Like I figured we would have more. We do have to have some because unfortunately it was really sad, but down at the road, which our house kind of sits on a hill and we have like a long driveway, and down at our road, a mama possum was hit with her babies and they all died. And it was so, it was awful and heartbreaking. Like it really messed with our family for a little while. But I always see everybody talk about how possums eat ticks and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that would be so cool. Like I kind of wish we had possums around here. And then I saw and then I saw your post about what the possums did to your chickens. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Possums hurt chickens?
Yeah, that Bambi, that's what she was sharing on Facebook. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's awful.
They hurt
13 chickens. Angela's got 13. We are down to 20 chickens.
We have 20 chickens. You have 13.
Okay, I will share. This is what I'm trying to decide with the homeschool. Yeah, possums killed all of yours. Hey, Tamra, how are you guys?
Possums killed all of your chickens? I think Sabrina had chickens.
Yeah, they did.
Stupid
So,
possums.
all of your dad's chickens. Oh, that's awful. So, I'm thinking I'm going to post on our blog some like amazing, like just kind of a collection of resources that we have found that we do love. Our homeschool plans are very minimalist. So if I add them all in, good morning, Tiff. So if I add them all into the homeschool plans, then that's kind of taking away the fact of being a minimalist homeschool. If I'm adding all of the stuff in, like that's not really the point. But I'm going to go ahead, I think, and add some. I have some really great free like grammar pages, the math, and all the different things that I think I'm going to just put like a blog post together and have just like a running resource list of different things that we find that are really cool that we like, that if you would like to spend extra time in a certain area, maybe it's an area that you need to focus a little bit on or whatever the case may be, that they'll be there. But I know, but I won't probably add it into the monthly PDF because again, if I add all that stuff in, then we're taking away from the fact that we do a minimalist type homeschool. So, but I know some people might like different things. So I'll probably go ahead and do that on the website, and that can be like a separate thing that you can go and grab if you're interested in.
Oh, extra math practice.
Extra math practice, you guys. They don't like it. They don't like it. Hey, Uncle Mike.
Hi.
The kids do not like extra math practice. They really don't. It is not their favorite, but it works. It works so well, and as long as she fusses about it until she gets doing it, and then she's like, "I'm doing so good. Look how many more green squares I have." Yes, she does this all the time.
Okay, I say
yes, it totally works. So that's where I say, like, I know it may not be their favorite, but we've used it for years now, and I see so much like progress and success in it. So. The one and only Stalin, that's Travis. So
just cut it.
If you guys haven't noticed in our stuff, there are a lot of Soviet Russian focus in our household because that is Travis's area of historical interest. Yes, resources list would be great so we can pick and choose. I would love some Bible-based color sheets from our little 5-year-old who begs to do his sisters. See, okay. With the homeschool plans, they are the more like I actually want to start doing extra math drills because they are getting so good at it. And I'm like, man, I am really not doing great. Hold on, this keeps like wiggling and I can't figure out why. They keep doing so good at it. And I'm like, man, I'm like, you guys, I was like calculus. I was so good at math. I took the AP classes of everything. And yeah, and I aced everything. Now I don't remember any of the stuff because I don't use it. Okay, so we'll have like a mom's group for our extra math drills. No. Because you're right, like I want to get better at these things and I don't use it all the time, so I lose it. Like I'm sitting over there and I'm like going through trying to remember. I love it. The drills are great. And yeah, I definitely do I have all of these resources that we've used throughout the years.
I hate math.
Claudia's like, nope.
Math.
Math is one of those things, like some brains are wired
math is
better,
cool,
you know,
but
for these
extra
things.
math
But yeah.
Yeah,
I did calculus, I did trigonometry, I did all of the classes, and I was like AP and everything, and I don't remember any of it at all.
So what's 3 plus 3? If you don't remember it, then what's the
I don't remember addition. I don't remember like all of the crazy math stuff I used to do.
Then what's 500 plus 500?
Okay, I know addition.
You just said you didn't know
calculus and trigonometry.
You just said you didn't know addition.
Anyways, yes, I will go ahead and share some of those extra resources. And I have I have found so many cool coloring, with the bad words, saying all these math words, all these horrible bad words.
Math words are bad words.
They are if you hate math. But I found so many cool like coloring pages and things like that, and I feel like I'm constantly going back and forth when I do like the littles, because it's like I want to do the things that I know they enjoy and they have fun with, but I also want to make sure that they're truly getting like the meat of the story. And so I'm like, am I doing too many coloring pages? Like I know my kids, Virginia too, she loves, and Virginia's cool stuff. She has all kinds of, like she loves doing that too, and like drawing stuff like based off of the story that we've read and things like that. And again, because I want them to like visualize it, but I also want to make sure that like their school is more than just a bunch of coloring pages, because I think it should be. I don't know. I struggle to like find a balance in that, and it's kind of hard to know what everybody likes and what everybody wants, and
everybody wants is extra.
Yeah, extra math isn't going to go away because it works. And look I've got other moms on here going, oh my gosh, look at that. It's
hopefully the baby
working out.
Go away.
Yeah, Olivia, she'll wave her hand. She'll go away.
Go away.
She's a mess. It's because she would be sitting on her brother's lap, because she goes in and curls up with Travis when she takes a nap, like before nap time. And so the girls will come
writing's nice.
The girls will come bust into his room, and so he'll go away, because he's trying to put the baby to sleep. So now Olivia, she goes, go away. Travis reading and writing, that was his like, he couldn't do it. A lot of it was because of the dyslexia and different issues and stuff like that. We found the things that helped with reading were to find. Dyslexia doesn't mean you can't remember stuff.
I thought that's what it is.
No, it's not. That's like amnesia or something. Anyways, reading, what really helped for him was just finding things that he was interested in. That's like for him, he first started off, all he would read were comic books.
Comic books are nice.
And that's when we found the Action Bible. And I was like, hey,
it's not just me.
If you read the Action Bible, that would be awesome. And then for writing, that's where we started those little writing drills where I would just set the timer and be like, hey, you would, you can write whatever you want to write. Spelling doesn't matter, like grammar, punctuation, nothing matters. Just write for 5 minutes, 2 minutes, whatever it is. Yes, now you're up to 15 minutes. Anyways, those were little tricks we did that helped. Heavily minded homeschools made such a difference in our home and lives. Oh, we finished month 1 last week, and the kids unanimously asked to continue and keep heavenly minded homeschool only. They adore the holy days and Sabbath, and you got plants. Yay! Oh, that is so cool to see. I'm so happy for your family that is something that is helping. It's hard to be a part of the world in some ways, but we are apart from it. Does God care? I don't know. I want to be living 200 years ago when families farmed together, right? It is sometimes you look at it and it's like, oh my gosh, it'd be so much easier. Everything is so integrated now. It's so hard to, get out of these things. Reading is Chloe's favorite. That's awesome. Writing is tough with her fine motor issues. Absolutely. And that's where I think, you do such a good job, Tamara, with all of your little activities and stuff that you do with Chloe. I love seeing them, but, I'm sure that's where sometimes like I would let the kids like go outside, and instead of writing, I would let them like draw it with sticks in the dirt. Or we had a little sandbox for a while, and they could like do it in there, or just anything that wasn't like writing on paper. They were all about. If I pulled out like little chalkboards or the dry erase board, I think Zoe's outside. If I pulled out that, they would write all day long. But if I gave them like a notebook with like a pen and paper, they couldn't handle it and they would stop. So that helps sometimes. Okay, I think Zoe's outside. We have a split house. 2 kids hate math and 2 kids hate English. Uh-oh. Oh, yay. Raylan's neighbor gifted her a plant. So she's excited. My husband is from Amish country, Pennsylvania. He wants to go live with them sometime. I will totally go with you.
Just wanted to say hi real quick. Hi,
Raylan's
everybody.
here
Thank
to
you so
say
much
hello.
for your prayers and everything this week, guys. I appreciate it.
It's been a rough week.
Yep, it's been tough, but I thank you guys, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.
You can go work?
I'm gonna do something.
Okay. Love you. He's going to go do something. Are my eyes green? My eyes are hazel, and so it totally depends sometimes on what I'm wearing. They change eyes. They change colors. So sometimes more green, sometimes more blue. Kind of depends on like the weather and what I'm wearing. So I'm all over the place. No way. I'd love to learn from them so much. Do they let people in? Okay, so you guys are. Oh, Mike, I just saw your comment. Trying to scroll up. Mike, you guys have to join us for church tomorrow. I'm so excited. Because then he'll totally be on there. And you know what's funny? Do you guys remember when I started forcing him to do these lives? And he, like, you guys, he doesn't like cameras. He's not a fan. But it was so funny because last week after the church live, he was like, you know what? If it wasn't for you making me do these podcasts and do these lives, there's no way I'd be able to do these church services. And I was like, see, I forced you there for a reason. But isn't it funny? Like, you guys remember, he was like kicking and screaming. It was not like, it still isn't his favorite thing, but look, God had a plan. He knew it. My sister-in-law lives in Kentucky. We love going there and enjoying Amish country every time we go. We love watching the buggies go by and everything. Yes, I have some family. They're up in Ohio, and they, always have all that stuff all around. I love, you guys look so professional last week. Thanks, Tiff. In our, dark dungeony basement. I'm glad it all works out and we get to do it. Like, it just seems so cool to see God working and the messages that we've seen after that and all of that. I mean, it makes all of the everything, worthwhile to do it. I love Amish stuff. Amish books. I actually have one up on my bookshelf. I'm trying to see if I can see the title from here. Hold on, because I really, really loved this book, and it had to do with parenting, and it was somebody who went and spent time with Amish families and like wrote down and shared like her experience with them. But yeah, I love all the Amish stuff. Let me go grab it off my bookshelf. All right. More Than Happy, The Wisdom of Amish Parenting. I love this book. I think Brandon gets a little annoyed when I go off in Amish like holes because he's like, honey, not everything there is correct. Yes, I understand that. I know that. But there's so much of it that I just absolutely love. And this book was really, really cool. Yeah, you've read this one, families, and just like shares on with, family, community, discipline, Amish work ethic, technology, faith, generosity, all these different topics and stuff. So anyways, I loved this book. And I love watching any of the Amish shows. All of them. I'm like, ooh. Brandon will find me and he's like, what are you watching now? And I'm like, more Amish shows. And he's like, oh Lord, here we go. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, it's a really good book. Oops, did it unfreeze? Is it back working? Yeah, but this one's really cool. I just love, she just goes through just these, like I said, just these different topics. And she went and spent time with multiple Amish families. I don't remember how many, but she spent time with different ones and just kind of observed and watched, recorded, asked them questions, and just kind of talked about the different ways that they go about some of these topics, and then shares them all in here. So it's a really cool book. Hopefully it's working again. I don't know. Honey, is it working? Can you see it? Hopefully it's working now. All right, I missed the first church service. I had an adult kiddo show up during the time. She struggled with past drug use, and when she comes, I stop everything to talk with her, love on her, and check up. Absolutely, you should. And at least that's the cool thing about doing everything online in those live streams. So in the Facebook group, they'll stay up. I mean, I don't think there's any reason why we would have to take them down. So hopefully they'll all continue to stay up. So if you ever miss the service, you can go back. Is it still glitchy, honey?
What?
Is it glitchy?
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's going in and out, but you're okay right now.
Okay. Should I turn the Wi-Fi off, or you think it's okay? Okay. He says it's okay right now. Okay. Hopefully it works okay. Where did they go? Okay, it's better. I don't know what its issue is. I have a lot of writing activities that can help Miss Chloe. If you want to message me. Okay, Tamara, did you see that? Morgan's got some different stuff too that might be cool for you to find. Okay. No glitchy now. Okay, it's better. I think I lost the girls to chickens. I think they're all gone outside playing with the chickens. It's usually what happens. We lose everybody to chickens. But yeah, anyways, I love this one. I think this book is cool. I think I have some other ones too. And some Quaker books. I have lots of like Quaker books as well, which I get have some doctrinally unsound, different things. But I love a lot of that stuff too. I'm trying to look up on my bookshelf, see if there's any other ones that stand out. But anyways. Okay, good. It's better now. These things are so weird. You never know, between the internet and then sometimes YouTube is just weird with the stuff that it shows and then it doesn't show. And anyways, yeah, I think there's quite a few special needs, groups on Facebook and things like that. I know sometimes, and that's where we just try to keep everything simple and minimal, with everything we do, again, so that way if your focus isn't on the Lord and his word and how everything works based off of that, then, that has to be the core for everything. And then I like everything to be open and minimal so you can go about, whatever else you want to work on. You know what? Here, I'll share. I have this one bookshelf in here. I'll share it with you guys. Well, can I switch this? I think I can switch the camera. Good idea, Bambi. Let's see what I have up on this bookshelf. So this is a floral arranging book that my dad gave me. It's an old vintage book, but floral designer by trade. So I've got that there. This was one of my favorite books when I was a kid. My aunt, who passed away at the beginning of the year, she read this to me literally until the cover came off. And so she'd given that to me. So I've got that there. The books by Dr. Raymond and Dorothy Moore are like my go-to if you are homeschooling, parenting, anything. You've got to have their books. These are just some old books that I had from when I was a kid. My mom brought me these, so I've got this for the kids, Heaven by Randy Alcorn. You guys have to read it if you have not already. Better late than early. If you have a kiddo that is under the age of like 8 or so, you need to read this book by Dr. Raymond and Dorothy Moore. It is seriously life-changing. Again, I have a bunch of like Quaker books. Oh, here. This was another good one. My Life as an Amish Wife. This one was really, really good as well. So you totally have to. There's another one. I've got a lot of Quaker books as well. What else do I have up here? Lay It Down. Oh, this was one that my friend Lex recommended. That was a good one. And then I've got this here, the Encyclopedia of Country Living. This book has everything in it. These are just some various other vintage books we've gotten that we haven't read through all of them yet. Here's my mezuzah from you, Karen, that needs to go up in here, but I need to set it up here today because I was like, I need to set that up out of the way so I can rehang that. And then, of course, when Anthropology, back when I used to make oodles of money and shop in Anthropology, when they came out with the cute rifle paper company decoration, cover cover books, I had to get the Heidi one. So I don't have any other ones out of the series when they did those. They're all so cute, but I got the Heidi one. Let me put my little dash hand back up there. Anyways, that's what's on this bookshelf here anyways. So anyways, now you guys get a little sneak peek at some of the things, and I gotta catch up on your comments now. Let's see. I like that. That was kind of fun, sharing the books that we have out there. Let me go up. All right, so share the books They are, but I get so caught up in all the things they're doing with their kids, I have to stop looking at it. Yeah, that's an easy one, I think, for all of us to get caught up on. My goal in 3 years when I can retire is to make adaptive curriculum for special needs children and customize it to each specific child, since I've been working in the special education field for 20 years. Tiffany, that is amazing. You would do so good at that. Praise God. That's way cool. Your minimalist bug has hit me hard. I've been going through every room decluttering. That's awesome, Raylan. It's hard once you get, I think, like on that minimalist mindset. It's so hard not to. I am constantly looking around like, what else do we need to do? Let's see. Country Life Speaks. This one's a really cool book. It really is like an encyclopedia of like all the things. There's so much information built in there. I love it. Cool. Yeah. So anyways, that's what's up there. Those are, yeah, pretty much all of my books, that thus it being high up on the wall, that I don't want, certain little children all getting up into. Please pray for my daughter, Emily. I almost lost her to the world and still fighting to save her daily. Absolutely. We will all be lifting Emily up in prayer. I am going to go ahead, I think, every week and start a prayer chain just right on the Facebook group for the home church. So everybody, because it seems to be working well with everybody kind of connecting up in there. So keep an eye out for that, because I was thinking of, going ahead and doing that each week, just to try to keep all of that together. But I will add that to our kind of master prayer list as well. So we'll be praying for her. That's a hard one. Brandon has a few people he's actually counseling right now that are dealing with that, with their, especially older children, adult children, things like that. And that's difficult. It's never an easy path. I don't think there's many easy answers. It's really hard. So totally, we'll be praying for you and for her, because it's hard on everyone. That is a difficult part to go through. Since the kids left, I'm gonna curl up on the couch. Special needs background and your spiritual curriculum combining could make it for a whole new world to open up. Tiffany, that's very true. I mean, because that's one part that is hard. I don't want to speak out on things, because unless it's something that I've dealt with my kids specifically, I don't feel comfortable saying like, hey, this will work for that, or this will work for this, because I have no idea. I don't have to deal with those things. I have my own things I have to deal with, but I don't want to stand up and speak on something that I haven't dealt with myself. And so I know a lot of families have come into this and with, various different things that they're dealing with and working with. And while a minimalist approach in general works out, really works out for everybody, but it's very helpful for many different things. I don't have anything obviously tailored specifically to, this or that or whatever the different things may be. And that's where, these different background things. Yeah, Morgan, I know you've done, a lot with that too. Could really be helpful and could really serve, different families in some great ways. So that would be really cool. You just need to hurry up and retire and move out here so we can get to work, because you're just sitting around not doing nothing, just kicking the bucket, right, Tiff? You'll get here soon. It's exciting to see, how God is at work, with different things. And Tamara, I'm so sorry. I know you guys have been struggling so long with this not sleeping well, and that just is so hard on everyone and your family and everything you have going on. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. Yeah, Lord willing, what he might have in store for however many days we all have to be here. It's exciting to see him at work anyways, and see different things kind of, I don't know. I feel like lately we've seen a lot of things that could potentially be falling together and lining up. Like I'm not trying to put all my eggs in a certain basket or, focus on one thing or another, because it's up to God's plan and God's will and not my own. But see different things kind of moving around, and it has me in prayer going, what are you up to? What are you doing? Because it seems like there's a lot of things that are potentially, kind of coming together in one way or another. And it's neat to it's neat to see. I think it's fun to watch, especially with, you know, some of y'all's lives and messages that you guys send us and things that are going on and different stuff. It's so cool just to see God at work and see these different things, you know, coming together and lining up, or maybe falling apart, so that way something new can come together. You know, that's part of it too. So anyways, I think it's neat to see all of that at work, because I know Brandon and I constantly will just have to sit back and kind of chuckle and laugh, because there's so many things that we're doing now that never in a million years did we think we would be here. You know, like it was Travis's birthday this past week, and we were kind of laughing, you know, 15 years ago, never, ever, ever would I have guessed like we would be anywhere near where we're at today. So it's crazy to see what God can do. And well, 15 years, he could have done it probably. I mean, he could have done it a lot quicker. We were the ones that were slow and we're holding everything up. But anyways, he's getting there. All right, Tiff has her, I'm going to set a countdown clock, Tiff, so that we can be counting down to to seeing you here. But anyways, that would be so fun. JD's prophecy updates every week. Yes, if you guys are not already watching those, they are fantastic. I know we've shared like the Watchmen with you guys, and I'm telling you, every year coming up around the time of the feast, like every year stuff starts happening, and stuff that's going on this year, it's just, there's so much, and I think it just makes every day that much more just exciting as we do. I mean, every day we're a day closer to being reunited with Christ. I mean, regardless of anything, every day you're a day closer. And I think that's an exciting thing to look forward to pray for, to be looking for. And yeah, there's so much with JD. I love, you know, we've had Brandon has a few disagreements here or there on different things, nothing big, you know, just little things. But I love seeing JD, to see a pastor that's actually standing up and talking about these things on the large platform that he has. It's very few and far between that you see that. And yeah, every year, and you can actually go back historically. That's what's so cool. And one things I find so fascinating about learning about the different biblical feasts. But the more and more you look at these feasts, you know, where they fall on the calendar, because of course they go on a lunar calendar, so it's not absolutely the same as, you know, like our calendar. But if you line these things up, you can go back even historically throughout the years and see things that happen, you know, all on these days, or different things, which is really cool. Yeah, if you 100% agree with any other human being, you might want to be concerned. That might be a red flag. Like if you can go through every single issue with another like sinful human being and you agree 100%, like that's probably a sign that something's wrong. Because yeah, I don't think any human being should completely 120% agree with everything. Like that would be crazy. But you know, he's, to see him stand up, you know, on these things and talk about it with Pastor JD, that's just so fantastic. We love watching. We do prophecy and pizza every Sunday. So Sunday's pizza day, and we can watch the prophecy updates. But every year around the feast time, stuff starts happening. Stuff happens every single year. And I feel like most people don't realize that. Yeah, if you 100% agree, then you're brainwashed. Likely. If you look though, every year around the times when these feasts fall, you will see things happening. And unfortunately, being in the times that we're in, that means that, I mean, look at these accounts of violence and just crazy things that are happening in the world that everybody is just like singing the praises of. I mean, we're storming Area 51 right now. Yeah, we do prophecy and pizza. Have you guys seen that they're like, I know like the memes or whatever with the storming Area 51, and I know I love a good conspiracy theory. Brandon calls me tinfoil hat Heidi, but I didn't realize people were actually showed up this week. And so Travis and Brandon were talking about it, and they pulled up online just the different videos and pictures and updates and whatever of that. I'm just like, oh my gosh, what a time to be alive. Like, well, and look at, like, we grew up on things like Blink-182 and stuff like that. So Tom from Blink-182 was always talking about aliens. And so Brandon posted something with these recent videos and stuff that they've had to release and say like, hey, yeah, we don't know what it was or whatever, is part of it because of the work that Tom from Blink-182 like has done. And we were just cracking up because we're like, what on earth? We have a reality TV show man is our president. We've got punk rock Blink-182 Tom proving aliens are real, right? Like with the stuff that like, it's just comical, the things that are going on. And you're like, what on earth are these? Like, is this real life? Is this actually happening right now? And then you have to crack up because you're like, people are really trying to storm Area 51. This is just amazing. Yeah. Prophecy and pizza. You guys have to do that every Sunday. It's perfect. I was watching that this morning and then people showed up. Yep. It's important to note that there are things that we must all, okay, absolutely. There are things that we must all agree on. People don't like conviction and mistake it for somebody's opinion. Absolutely. That is a great point, Brandon, that I did not. Yes, if you 100% agree with everybody on all of the details, that's probably a little crazy. There are core issues that you must agree on. There is this awesome little box of biblical orthodoxy because these are the points that you must all agree on. And anything outside of that, you are in false religion. And unfortunately, that's what makes up the majority of things today. And people don't want to hear it because that means conviction and change in their life and owning up to the sin that they are willingly participating in all of the time. And that's a big deal. My kids were joking about it. They said they were going to go and raid it and adopt a couple aliens. They were choosing funny names for them. That is hilarious. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on the things. It is so funny, just to look at these things and see it. But then again, if you were in your word and you were reading your Bible, none of these things should be surprising because it's literally all right in there. And I mean, I understand that not many people talk about it. And so that's kind of difficult. I think it can be a little bit overwhelming to some of these people because they're like, I have no idea what any of this is. It's like, yeah, it's because nobody talks about it. But Scripture told us all of these things were going to happen, and here it comes. And it just shows all of these headlines and stuff. I feel like so many of these stories are just so crazy, and you're like, this cannot be real life, but it is. All of it is. It's crazy. It's getting out of control. There were some other things this week I remember looking at. I often won't even read the articles. I'll just read the headlines, right? Because all of the headlines are ridiculous and crazy. And then I send them to Brandon because he actually reads and studies into things. So I just send him the headlines and I go, can you tell me more about this? What is this talking about? And he's like, oh, here we go. If you're a Christian and are following a transvestite, what I have been scared of is the hidden witches. There's so much of that stuff, and you see, what is it now? The Baptist church even did they put a transgender person as a pastor now? There's just so much. And again, and you guys, I guess this is a cool little plug into starting tomorrow with our home church live stream. Brandon is going into, okay, so what does living biblically look like? Let's look at Scripture and start going through this. If we are called to live a certain way, to not follow along with the world, right? We have to do certain things. What are those? And how realistically does that apply to our life? It's most likely going to come with a lot of conviction. It should come with a lot of conviction, but we all have to stop first. We all have sin in our life that we need to rid, and we need to hold the mirror up at ourselves and weigh ourselves biblically and look at these things and take it seriously. Because either you take it seriously and you're doing these things or you're not. I mean, there's no in between here on this. And so that's what Brandon is preparing and starting for our first series that we're going to go through is looking at Scripture to say, what is the biblical standard for our life in all the different areas, and how we need to assess ourselves and go through that. But too many people, they They want to flee from conviction because we don't want to be convicted. We don't want to change. We're comfortable in our ways and we don't want to change that. We want to have reasons and excuses for why it's okay to do this or to do that, or whatever. And so, yes, thank you, Sherry. Yes, let's pray tonight that God would prepare us to receive everything the way that we should. Absolutely. Because that's what it is. I mean, it's just taking what God's word says and, and taking everything and moving our lives, based off of that. So absolutely. I think I'm back. Is this good now? What was I going to say? We do not, okay. Is it back now? Hopefully it's back okay. It like reconnected me for some reason, but hopefully it's back okay now. Okay, Sherry, I will keep you in prayer. You need to like send me messages or something, like voice messages, and catch me up on everything. Dang it, I was gonna say something and I don't remember what it was, so I see this. Okay, hopefully this is working. I completely believe that the alien or the aliens that everybody thinks they're seeing are totally demons or Nephilim spirits. You can go to Prophecy Watchers. They have all kinds of stuff. Gary Stearman, they have so much stuff with that. And yeah, I totally can watch their shows for hours and hours and hours because there's so much cool stuff with all of that. Conviction is correcting with love. Yeah. So you have to be convicted and you have to do something about it. It's when you're convicted and you don't do anything about it and you ignore the conviction, that's when we see so much, that there's issues and stuff, because I think a lot of us, we know, what there's things in there, or you just choose not to read things or whatnot. And that's, what we have to pay attention to. But absolutely, I completely believe that aliens exist because we know that there's demons and there's Nephilim spirits that have nowhere to go and they're just roaming. Yeah, don't get me started on the whole illegal alien thing. We'll go a little off there and we'll see everybody leave real quick. Yeah, because it isn't a battle of flesh and blood. The spiritual realm is more real than our physical realm that we see every day. And that's completely, all of this stuff, of course, stuff is happening and stuff is out there. It's not, and there is going to be a deception, right? If all of a sudden, things happen, there has to be some reason for all of it and some easy thing to pinpoint. And what is it? There was a study we watch Watchmen a lot on YouTube, and he just pulls together clips from various places looking at these things from all over the world. And what is it? More people believe that aliens are real than believe that the Bible is a true book or something like that. It was some like crazy statistic. And you're like, yeah, absolutely. The Nephilim spirits were when the, we know in Genesis 6, the account, that's one of those pink elephant series ones, the account when angels, there were some fallen angels who, there were fallen angels who came and took human wives and they had children, and their children are the Nephilim, the giants. So the stories we have of like Hercules and things like that are based off of those Nephilim spirits. So they were half human, half angelic beings. And there's a lot that goes into studying into that. It was really crazy. But yeah, Angela, that I don't see how that couldn't be wrong. And that was the point that Brandon made it better on there. But, Morgan, you said with correction but with love, and you said yeah, but that's a big one where a lot of people get really twisted, and you end up, I'm not saying that you are, but a lot of people take that love and really become very doctrinally unsound with it. If you're caught in a burning car, I'm not going to be gentle getting you out. I'm yanking you out of the car before it blows up. So everybody loves to say the judge not and do it with love and all things love. I saw Babylon Bee posted one, and it said progressive Christians. It's like a satire news page, Babylon Bee. If you guys don't know, we love them. But it was like progressive Christian complains that Jesus isn't being very Christ-like, right? So we have this idea now, and so many of these churches are teaching it's all love and it's all kindness and it's all this and judge not and all this other stuff. And it's like, it's so biblically unsound. It's insane. Unfortunately, so many people are so biblically illiterate that they don't understand the difference and they totally go agree with it. And that's where it's like, hold on, let's pump the brakes real quick and look at the whole picture here. All of Scripture reconciles with itself, and we need to look at that and understand it. So yes, with love, but possibly not in the way that you're thinking that it is. No, Claudia, you're right. Yeah, an angel would not be causing confusion and issues with this. These things that are happening, I completely believe, are all demonic and Nephilim spirits. But yes, demons are fallen angels. So that's where sometimes people say, well, it's still an angelic being, yes, but they're a group that have fallen with the Great Rebellion. So my husband is a big political person. He is super passionate about politics. He is retired military. Is being a passionate political person a bad thing? Bambi, I highly suggest, we podcasted on this a ton back around, it was in July. I think it was around 4th of July because all these topics were coming up. I highly recommend that. Brandon comes from the most political family you could ever imagine in your whole life. I'm not even kidding. And so his opinion, I know, is not popular in many ways. It's like Claudia saying there, where's the heart in it? I feel that a lot of times people who are Christian and are political, they definitely become that stereotypical Republican, right? The evangelical Republicans that are doing this. And your political system is never going to change the world, because it cannot change the heart. And if the heart cannot be changed, then no true change ever takes place. And I think that's something that we quite often confuse. We think that if we put our hope and our might into a political source, that through regulations and different things, exactly, do not trust in princes and mortal man in whom there is no salvation, Psalm 146:3, amen. We put so much hope into these things that through regulations and laws and practices and all of these things that we can change the world and we can make a difference. I always use the example, I don't want to live in a world, all nations are nothing. Guess what? America to God is nothing. Africa is nothing. Canada is nothing. Mexico is nothing. I mean, no country is anything. These are all imaginary lines that we have created. Because guess what? In the end, one stands, and it's Israel. So everybody else, sorry, you're not that important. We as people, as believers, yes, but being obsessed, into all of that, it's nonsense. Exactly, Claudia. Jesus said, give to Caesar's what Caesar's. Let them have it, because that has nothing to do with us. As believers in Christ, you are citizens of heaven. So you're not a citizen of America. You're not a citizen of Mexico. You're not a citizen of wherever it is that you're from. You are a citizen of heaven, and you need to live that way. So while I think it's interesting to be aware of things that are going on, because this is the world you live in, and so it's neat to say things. Like I've always said, I don't want to live in a world where abortion's been outlawed. I want to live in a world where people don't want to murder their babies, right? Like there's a big difference there. You can put all the laws and regulations and stuff that you want, but if you can't change people's hearts, then what's happening? There's no real change going on. I feel when I listen to politicians, I feel hate in my heart, and that's not healthy. Absolutely not at all. My husband's very political too. I've opted for not arguing about it being wrong. I give it to God in prayer, and he shows him what's wrong about it. Absolutely. Yeah, give it to God. God'll work it out, and I think that is something where typically the men are, more politically geared in a lot of ways. But I think the more that you, I find political Christians tend to be angry. I completely agree with that, Karen. Yeah, I feel like a lot of times, that you do see the more wrapped up people are. But again, you're being wrapped up in the world. And so that's a very fine line. It's one thing to be aware of it, but when you're really wrapped up in these things, you're acting like a citizen of the world. And if you're a follower of Christ, then you're a citizen of heaven. So where are you holding on to? Yeah, Sherry, I totally think that's a great part of it, you know, and I think there's a place for that. Yeah. And this is where I say again, guys, Brandon did, honey, how many podcasts did you do on it? There was like a half a dozen of them, I think. There were so many because the topic kept coming up. But if you want any political understanding, like where biblically should we fall on this and should we be on this? Go back and look through our podcast. They're here on YouTube, all under a playlist, Growing Up Churchy playlist. Or if you have like iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, all of those things, you can go look up just Growing Up Churchy and you can find our podcast there. And there's oodles of them talking about it. That again, I get isn't the popular like evangelical Christian way to go about it, but we're looking biblically. And so I could care less what any group says, because what does the Bible say about it? Well, and that's the thing. You're not going to make America great again. You're not going to make the world great again. You're not going to make anything great again. Everything will be made great again because Jesus will make it great again. We're not going to do anything. Like there's only one way that this ship is going, and it's down. There's no other way. So until Christ comes and Christ is at the helm, guess what? Nothing's going to get better. Sorry, guys. Hate to break it to you. You're right, Claudia. I think that is it's a total guy thing, and I think that's great. That was Brandon too. He like all the political everything. My mom, my family, like my mom still, if anybody brings up politics, she will literally just not even communicate with you. But so I come from a household that had like nothing to do with that. But Brandon's family is very political. Oh my goodness, they're political. And they have a picture when Brandon growing up, when we would go, when I would go over to his house, his family photo album had a portrait of Ronald Reagan in like the very first page. Like that's how political his family is. But you're right, that's all the world. And you just have to really look at scripture and weigh yourself on those things. Will you please let Zoe in? She's out there like tearing up the door. Here. We put water down for them too. Okay. Okay. So I'm not saying that you need to all go run to your husband now as soon as we just and be like, you can't like politics anymore, because I don't think that. The creator of Babylon Bee, he actually has like a real political like news outlet site, kind of like Drudge Report, but like with a biblical basis to it that he goes about. I can't remember what it's called. Maybe Brandon remembers, but I don't. But anyways, it's pretty interesting. Yeah, we have to, pray for them in those things. We definitely have those podcasts and resources out there if that's something that I think a lot of us have never even thought about it. In our culture, if you're a Christian, you're a Republican, you believe in Republican values, like end of story. I feel like that's kind of overwhelmingly the way we go about things like that. There's no biblical basis to it, but I feel like that's kind of what we just do, or what we've known anyways. And so I think our whole point was just saying, okay, well, let's look scripturally. If we need to weigh ourselves biblically with everything, how does this come into play? How does politics and government and all of these things kind of connect into that? So that's why we did, those podcasts. Like I said, there's a handful of them that you can go and check out. We've got various resources and stuff like that attached to them. So if that's a topic that you're interested in, or maybe you've just never really thought about it, because I know a lot of the times there's a lot of these topics that you really don't even think about because that's just the norm, and it's even very normalized in our Christian culture. So therefore we don't second guess it, because most churches have, flags up by the pulpit and all of these things. It's just so intertwined. You don't stop to question any of this stuff. And so I get it. But when you start to question it, the Bible has a lot to say about it. And it's kind of not what I think most of us have been taught. So that's why we spoke on it like we did. It's a topic that Brandon will speak on a lot. So if you have any questions or confusion, or you're like, what the heck is this? Or what about that? Or how can you say this? Totally reach out to him. And he is a great resource for that. because again, he's a recovering like political maniac. I don't know what you would call him. Honey, is that probably a fair statement? I think that's a fair statement. So now that we've covered all the topics today, who's ready for pizza and prophecy tomorrow? We've thought about doing a few times. I don't know how we could fit it all in, but Brandon's thought about doing a like follow-up to JD's prophecy update on Sunday, like doing a little podcast in the evening after we watched the prophecy update, kind of just talking about, you know, whatever was on there. Again, I don't know how we fit it in now with all the other things that we're doing, but that is one that he had kind of kicked around a little bit. But you guys should definitely, I mean, it's not that we're like obsessed with all of these things or anything like that. It's just being the times and seasons that we're in and encouraging each other as we look forward to the return of Christ. I mean, what else is there to be excited about? I don't care about football season. I don't care about shopping. I don't care about new TV shows or whatever, because none of that matters. And it's all about Christ's return. And when you truly look at it, there's nothing that even holds a candle as far as, you know, level of excitement and looking forward to that. But that can be a lonely road because most people, you know, that's not where, you know, most people are. But the more I feel like we learn about it and we look around and we see the signs of the times and everything going on. I mean, all of these things, these political things, the school things, the worldly things, I mean, all of the things come together and point all of us towards Christ and his return and where we're at, and holding the mirror up and looking at ourselves and assessing ourselves, you know, what sin am I holding on to? What do I need to rid myself of? What am I too obsessed with? What am I holding, you know, up to important? What are the idols in my life? And kind of weighing all of those things. And I know Brandon is going to go through, he's starting in the letters to the Corinthians. I know that was a little bit of a sneak peek he gave last week and kind of the Q&A after church last Sunday. I know sometimes it can feel like we are worlds away from the people that we read about in the Bible, but we're not. We really aren't. And so when you look at the church in Corinth, I mean, it was so similar to the world we have today in our church today here in America. A lot of similarities. And so that's where Brandon chose to start with, and kind of looking at that and going through those things. And again, we all have to stop and really look at ourselves. And conviction falls and change needs to happen and things like that. But it's all a good thing, all a good growing process. We all need to have it, because if we don't, all of a sudden all of the comments just updated. It does the weirdest things. See, you guys have all been having all these conversations. I've just been sitting here chatting. Now I have to go back up. Hold on. Let's see. The political king, the one who came and dumped on the Romans and the world system. Yeah, when people want to get wrapped up and claim, you know, Christianity and being wrapped up in this stuff, it's like, well, Jesus didn't have much to say about it. Absolutely. I definitely pray for my husband. Yeah, and I think that's hard, you know, and that's where all of these things, I mean, they do hold some level of importance. But again, when you weigh things scripturally, that's where it's like, okay, but at the end of the day, come on, be aware, but not blind. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. And women, it's not our job to go and correct our husbands and change them and be like, hey, you have to do this now. Take it to prayer. Go watch the Biblical Womanhood series if you haven't already. Take it to prayer. You do what you need to be doing and let God work on him. It is not your job to walk in and be like, hey, this is what you need to do because this is what it says. And until you do that, you're wrong. Claudia, you're so right. I don't know why it doesn't show me these comments. I'm sitting here yakking about stuff, and now I'm going back trying to catch up and see what you guys were saying. It seems like we are headed to underground churches via the internet to keep the truth alive. Crazy to think of it. The buildings, for the most part, are of no use. And that's what's crazy. Remember, even the demons believe. Bye, Raylyn. Yeah, I guess we should probably wrap this up. Sorry, I'm trying to catch up on all the things. Bye, Angela. Bye, everybody. Food theme each week. Thanks, Tip. So as far as for the church specifically, Sherry, I know everybody's got to, we'll wrap this up. I need everybody to, I'm sure they're going to be dying here. as far as doing specific studies, Brandon is very much against splitting everybody up. So there probably will not be like when Transformed Wife put out her thing and for me to do on the channel, like that was one thing where we kind of weighed it and we're kind of not too sure at first, but then we went ahead and did it. Or I went ahead and did it when we did that. But we'll probably keep everything together. We're not big on splitting up. I know it's pretty standard in most churches that like the kids go over here, the women go over here, and the men go over there. There's really no biblical basis for that. And so we'll probably keep everything together. I mean, there may be some things in the future, you know, that we might talk specifically. Like I know Brandon needs to do some stuff on like, okay, so what does biblical manhood look like? And, you know, different things like that we'll probably touch on, but we'll probably touch on the things together as we go. Like the family unit is one versus things being split up is probably how that will go. All right, Bambi. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably because it's been forever. So I don't know, Sherry, honestly, to tell you the truth, like, we do any more studies like the one we did? I honestly have no idea. It's like the biblical womanhood stuff. I will leave those studies up for anybody to ever find them, you know, whenever. There could be something that comes up down the road that we're like, hey, this is really good. Like, let's go ahead and do this. And I know it's a topic that I love talking about. So once things kind of calm down a little bit here with just some things that we have going on, I know doing more of the heavenly minded homemaking is something that I'm really excited to do some more on, that will kind of continue down that path with those different things. But I think it just depends. But as far as like our goal being excited to go and like, hey, we're going to have this for the women and this for the men and this for the children, that's probably never going to be the focus. It'll probably all be like, hey, all of us together as a family unit, husband and wife and children, if you have them, or, you know, whatever, all come together and do it that way. Most likely. Like I said, there might be every once in a while, there's something that comes up and, you know, it's kind of like, okay, let's go ahead and do that. But for the most part, it'll probably all be together. But we could let Brandon talk about that because he has a lot to say on that topic. Not that we're going to make him type it all out right now, but you'll hear more about it, I'm sure. Or you can ask him tomorrow and he'll kind of chat on that. Oops, sorry, just kicked the thing. If there's going to be biblical teachings on men leading the home and women taking care of the home, yes, like that is a topic that we would like to do more on, but we haven't quite figured it out yet. But that is something that we do want to go further into, of like, okay, what does that, and that's kind of what Corinthians, I think we wanted to start by making sure like, hey, overall, as a believer in Christ, like this is what life looks like. And then we can kind of break it down a little bit more. Like, so men, this is what leading your family in a biblical way looks like. Women, this is what serving your family in a biblical way looks like. You know what I mean? Type of a thing. So, yeah, like deeper than we did with the biblical woman. Yeah, something kind of along those lines. But I think we wanted to make sure that we have that groundwork laid first of like, hey, everybody who claims to be a Christian, this is kind of one of these boxes that we must and weigh ourselves on, you know, type of an ordeal. And then we can kind of dig into some of those things if all of that makes sense. Those were kind of our thoughts anyways, kind of going into it. And I mean, I've thought about different things for the kids, you know, that they can do, but again, like through homeschool and working together as a family and stuff like that. So all of it will be like that, but just more so, across the board. It's all about pulling the family together, not apart. It's not that I don't understand the need or want for them. We just need more unity in the body. Yeah, I think the church separates the kids from the adults because we just don't want to put up with kids. We are in a culture that doesn't like children. Honestly, even within the church, we don't like kids because kids make noise and they interrupt and they fuss and they don't sit still. I mean, we don't like kids in general. I mean, we make comments like, oh, are you having more? Are you done yet? You know, I mean, we don't like kids. And so I think that's why it's just easier on us to separate them and put them away. We don't agree with any of that. So that's why we say, you know, the home church service, we're having our kids watch it upstairs just so Brandon can like talk and think without being interrupted a million times. But we encourage you to sit down like with your kids and everybody sit down together and do this. Our kids have it on a live stream upstairs so they can watch while we do it. My parents' church will ask you to sit in a separate room if you have a baby. That's insane. I mean, I understand if there was a separate room, like I remember our church growing up, there was a room in the back that had like soundproof glass or whatever. So if you wanted to nurse privately or, you know, your baby was losing your mind or whatever, and it was like better to like go sit back somewhere, you could. But yeah, it just, it's ridiculous. I'm most nervous about taking, oh wait, comments Cami out because even with someone who played with struggle last week, yeah. My husband is from Mexico. He doesn't get how Americans don't include kids in anything. It's true. We don't. I mean, our culture doesn't like kids. I mean, we might say that we do and say that we love them and family and all that other stuff, but we don't. We are so ingrained to separate kids over there, the women go over here and the men go over here. Like, while definitely, yes, I do agree there are women things and men things, but we are just always separating everybody and it's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, we separate everything. And that was one thing that has always bothered Brent. Like, that's been one of his things that has always just driven him nuts. And so he's like, that's not what we're doing. Is that making noise, Trav?
Yeah.
We just hit the power button. Something's wrong with my washer now. Fantastic. I thought I heard it, but I wasn't sure. Jesus didn't hold a women's study. Yeah, because that was Mary's whole, or Martha's whole problem with Mary when she was hanging out there. Yeah, it's right. We don't like kids. Everybody separates everything. And I get that that is totally normal to all of us. Like, I think that's another one of those things that honestly, we don't even stop and think about it because we're just so used to that's how things work and that's how we do things that why would you question it? Right? Like saying, hey, we don't celebrate Christmas. And people are like, but I thought you're a Christian. Why would you not celebrate Christmas? That's weird. And then you go, well, have you ever questioned? Why do you celebrate Christmas? And people are like, no, why would you question that? I think it's like one of those things too, where we're just so used to that being the way that we do things that you honestly don't even stop to think about, why do we do it that way? Why do we do that? They can learn from the exposure and from the examples of their parents. They need to be included and a part of everything. Completely agree. I was never ever comfortable with it. I am suspicious though, which is probably bad. I'm not worried about us being separated. I'm worried about learning how to be a biblical wife, how my husband should be a biblical leader in the home. Absolutely. And that's so important. And isn't that interesting that so many of us, we grew up in the church, we did all of this stuff and we have no idea what that looks like. Like, what does being a biblical wife look like? What does being a biblical husband look like? Like, I have no idea what that looks like. Or, I mean, I do, but you know what I mean? Like, I grew up in the church. I did all of the things. I had no idea what that meant or how you know how to do that. And I think that's why we really wanted to start off by going into some of these practical application things. So I think naturally, we're probably going to cover a lot of that just in the coming weeks with the church services. Again, first laying the foundation of just like, anyways, Brandon is, and then know where I am. Yeah, and so I think definitely kind of looking first, like, I'm a follower of Christ. What does my life need to look like? And then naturally, I think we will get into men, women, together. Like, how does this all come together as one? So something I think we will be covering all of the aspects of because it is so important. It is something that I think we're both pretty passionate about. We'll probably just go about it in a slightly different way, but that's okay. I don't think that part, really matters. I think it might even have some pluses to it and kind of going about it in a different way. So anyways, hopefully that helps. God will absolutely guide you. Yes, absolutely. All right, guys. Is there anything else you guys have? I know I've yacked at you guys for over an hour now. That's forever. I don't know if any of you listened to me for that long. Brandon's like, yep, don't listen to her. She says so many things. I'm guessing that's what he's saying. I don't think it's updating my comments again. Because this isn't frustrating or anything. Oh, look, hey, comments are showing up. We got you, Sherry. Oh wait, hold on. See, I miss all of these comments. Public school only aids in separating families. I think it's strange that the church adopted the same system. Absolutely, Sabrina. You are, yep, exactly. Yes, no, Sherry, totally get you. That's awesome. I was totally thinking that, yep. Okay, cool. I caught it. All right, if I do not go get my children and Brandon lunch, they're probably all going to lose their minds because they always think they're starving to death. Although the girls must still be outside playing with chickens because they haven't been in here bothering me. Oh, I think it's Molly. All right, you want to tell everybody bye? I was just saying, I'm like, wow, they must be outside playing with chickens because they're not bugging me. All right, we need to go get lunch. And see you all tomorrow. The comments keep like going away.
Hi, Dad.
Yeah, completely.
What is this?
You guys have an awesome day. Enjoy your week. We'll see you all tomorrow. Though I will put, because we're getting off, I'll put the link in the description for the home church stream if anybody doesn't have it. But otherwise, we will see you guys all tomorrow. Enjoy your Saturday. I'll be helping Daddy prep his stuff for tomorrow. Ready? Bye, guys.